You keep setting goals. You keep missing them. Not because you're lazy, because goals aren't the mechanism. Systems compound at 1% per day. Goals just sit there. Think about this for a second. The person who won Olympic gold and the athlete who finished dead last had the exact same goal: win the gold medal. Same goal. Opposite results, which means the goal itself did nothing. So if goals aren't what separates winners from losers, what does? The answer is what the best thinkers in self-improvement have been quietly telling us for years. Not another productivity hack. A complete shift in where you put your attention. One thing before we start: if you can't commit to a single daily habit for 30 days, skip this video. No hard feelings. This isn't a quick fix. It's a mental model that pays off over months. For the rest of you, let's go. Here's the first reason goals fail. James Clear writes it flat in Atomic Habits. And I quote from page 25. In order to improve for good, you need to solve problems at the systems level. Fix the inputs and the outputs will fix themselves. Translation: every time you hit a goal, you've solved the problem temporarily, not permanently. You wanted to lose 20 pounds? You hit the number, then gained it back in 6 months, because the system that made you overweight never changed. You wanted to run a marathon? You crossed the finish line, and 3 weeks later, you're on the couch. Because marathon runner was never who you became. It was something you did once. Goals are outputs. Systems are inputs. And here's what nobody tells you. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your inputs are a doom scroll at 11 p.m. and a skipped breakfast, no goal is going to save you. Fix the inputs. The outputs take care of themselves. The second reason goals fail is subtler and more brutal. Naval Ravikant puts it in one sentence, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Almanack, page 137. Every desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Read that again. Every desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. This is what a goal actually does to you. The moment you write, I want to make 6 figures, you've signed an agreement that says, I will not permit myself to feel okay until the number on my pay stub crosses 6 digits. You postponed your happiness. You tied your self-worth to an outcome that hasn't happened yet. And here's the cruelest part. When you finally hit the goal, you don't feel the joy you were expecting. You feel nothing. Then you set the next goal. 7 figures. 8. The treadmill never stops. People who live inside goals are perpetually unhappy because the goal itself is a vow of unhappiness until completion. Systems flip this. You fall in love with the process, the daily rep, the weekly review, the habits stacked at 7 a.m. You get the reward now every day, not at some mythical finish line. The third reason goals fail is the one that'll actually change how you live. Goals make you aim at the wrong altitude. Atomic Habits describes 3 layers of behavior change: outcomes, processes, and identity. Most people set goals at the outcome layer. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to write a book. I want to make $1 million. Outcome level goals feel motivating for about 48 hours. Then they die because you never changed who you are. Real change happens at the identity layer. It's not, I want to run a marathon. It's, I am a runner. It's not, I want to quit smoking. It's, I'm not a smoker. Kobe Bryant didn't have the goal of being the best. He had the identity of a 4 a.m. in the gym worker. His rivals had the same goal: win a ring. His identity was different. Amazon didn't outgrow the internet because Bezos had better quarterly goals. He had a day one identity, the system of treating every single day like launch day. Same goal as every other founder. Different altitude. Your brain does not execute outcomes. Your brain executes identities. When your identity shifts, the behavior that matches that identity gets automatic. That's when the goal stops mattering, because you've become the kind of person for whom the goal is a foregone conclusion. Okay, enough philosophy. Let's make this concrete. Here's what a system actually looks like. Not a vague intention, a weekly schedule someone who is becoming a writer would actually run. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Write 400 words before checking any app. No exceptions. That's the anchor habit. It owns the first hour of the day, period. Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Read one chapter of a book in your field. That's the input habit, compounding knowledge over time. Sunday night, a 15-minute review. What worked? What broke? What needs to change next week? That's the reset mechanism. 3 components. 0 goals mentioned. No target word count by year end. No book deal chased. No make it big. Just a system running on repeat. 6 months from now, this person has 200,000 words on the page. The goal of write a book becomes irrelevant. The book is already happening every single morning without being chased. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. A system isn't really about productivity. It's about who you're becoming while you think you're just running errands. Every time you hit your 6 a.m. writing block, you're not just adding 400 words. You're casting a vote for the identity of being a writer. Every time you skip it, you cast a vote the other way. James Clear calls this proof of identity. Behaviors are votes. You don't become a runner by finishing a marathon. You become a runner the 100th time you lace up on a morning you didn't feel like it. Goals ask you to imagine a future self and chase them. Systems turn you into that self, 1 rep at a time, until the goal is a description of who you already are. That's the trick. The system isn't a route to the outcome. The system is the outcome disguised as a daily habit. So here's your mental model to take away. 3 pillars. Anchor habit. 1 daily action that's non-negotiable, ideally in the first hour of your day, anchored to something you already do. Wake up, coffee, brush teeth. This owns your identity. Peak window. Identify the 2 hours per day when you're sharpest and protect them like your job depends on it. Because it does. Don't spend peak hours on low-leverage work. Reset mechanism. 1 15-minute block per week where you review the system, notice what drifted, and recalibrate. Not to judge yourself, to tune the machine. Anchor, peak window, reset. That's it. No goal required. You can use this framework for writing, for training, for business, for saving money, for learning a language. The content changes. The structure doesn't. Build it once. Run it forever. Winners and losers have the same goals. What they don't have is the same systems. Stop writing down what you want to achieve. That's easy. That's dopamine. Start building the system that, if you ran it for 2 years without quitting, would make the goal inevitable. Fix the inputs. Build the identity. Let the outputs take care of themselves. See you in 3 days.